Today, Kevin Ioli said that you've confirmed Khamzat Chimaev will be fighting Gerald Meschert here in Vegas, and then again Damian Maia here in Vegas. How come he's not fighting in Fight Island?
I don't know how that played out, but that's how we're doing it. I don't know.
I
told these guys, get him 2 fights, get him 1 here in Vegas and 1 in Fight Island, and he's fighting both here. I don't know why they ended up doing that, but whatever, it's all good.
Is there a risk that by booking him 2 fights at once, if he loses the first fight, does Gerald feel disrespected? Is this an opportunity for him to prove you guys wrong? What's the thinking in booking a guy 2 fights at once?
Yeah, the thing is, the guy wants to keep fighting. He wants all these fights back to back. It's no disrespect to his opponent. He's either going to win or lose. That has nothing to do with us. That's up to them. But to do that, for him to really fight 2 fights in a row, you have to book him.
And last thing from me.
And for a guy like him, I would never do that for somebody else. I'd be like, relax. Let's see if you get through this fight. But what I've seen from him, I'm willing to do that with him.
Could there be some sort of abnormal gimmick where you have him booked middleweight and then again 2 weeks later at welterweight and just keep doing that and see how far he goes up both divisions at the same time?
It's fascinating. Never really had anybody that's doing anything like he is right now. So I could see why you would say, don't you think this is disrespectful, booking a fight for him when he's got a fight? But that's how you have to do it. It's interesting. I like it, and I've never had a guy like this, so it's fun. I'll play this game with him. After what I saw in his first 2 fights, fought real guys, man. He didn't fight chumps. This isn't a guy that's blew through a couple of setup fights. He beat real people, man, and I'm going to see how it plays out.
And last thing for me, earlier this week, report from Errol Houani at ESPN that Nick Diaz is back in shape, did a 14-week sort of camp and is looking to return. His manager says he definitely wants to fight again. Have you heard or spoken to Nick Diaz or anyone in his team?
Listen, the Nick Diaz thing, first of all, we would have never released that or done that. We'll see how this thing plays out. I don't have any expectations whatsoever. We'll see what happens.
For now, he's saying that, and you're just having to see how he commits to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Cheers, then. Thank you.
Dana, so there's been no direct discussions between you and Nick Diaz's party?
Yeah, there's been talking, but there's been talking for years.
And the thing is, man, a lot of people think he rolled his ankle, but I watched a video by Stan Lee MMA. I'm gonna give him a shout out to Stan Lee on YouTube. He broke your fight down and he showed how you were landing those low kicks. And then he took a lot of other fights where people were landing low kicks and it was causing some kind of nerve damage in the leg, which ultimately caused them to start misstepping and losing their balance. And then eventually they rolled their ankle, or they did something like what Sugar Sean did. So it's not like he just had a freak accident or anything. You were landing kicks, you were causing the damage, and then he rolled his ankle, which even then wasn't like a broke ankle. It wasn't like an injury that should have, prevented him from continuing. And then you capitalized perfectly and landed that elbow. So, I'm sure you're well aware of this, but I mean, it definitely wasn't any fluke. It definitely wasn't any rolled ankle. Like, you were landing the right shots. I love your patience in the beginning. You were being very patient. He was long. He was switching stances, and you were just kind of waiting and landing back everywhere you could. I thought it was a great fight.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I'm with you there. Like, I would say like this, even if my opponent has a freak accident, like what happened to Eldenberger, that his foot got stuck in the cage and then he got TKO by Masvidal, he didn't lose because of that. Masvidal was about to do it anyways. And I will say the same thing. Let's see, I will kick him, 2 inches apart of the nerve. And let's be real. It's not like I'm doing okay, the nerve is right there. I'm going to throw this kick at 360 degrees. No, you just fucking throw it as hard as you can. Hopefully you break the guy. It's the same thing when you throw overhand right to the face. You're expecting the guy to go to sleep. So, there's a little bit of controversy, but I know what happened. The people that really know how to fight. Now, you got real experience. You're not a fanboy. You were a great fighter. Now you're in charge of one of the biggest camps in the world. So you understand fight. And then I appreciate talking to people that understand fighting, because I'm a pretty big nerd in MMA. So I try to go deep in detail and stuff like that. So always there's gonna be satisfied people and unhappy people. You cannot satisfy everybody. I
Right.
satisfy myself. I collect a double check. I went celebrate, and now I'm back in the win column. I got a bullshit decision in Florida, which still was being good. It was a good experience. It was a good fight, but it was a bullshit decision anyways. So put me back at the win column and just moving forward. Now people, I'm in the spotlight. I'm gonna take advantage of it. Now is when I have to show up, and I say that before this fight. This is a big fight, and I need to show up, and then I did. But guess what? When that fight's over, the next one is still as important and even more important. So
Absolutely.
it's a never ending train. You think you're good after this night? No, the following is the most important one. So there is never the most important. It's always what's coming next.
He has still got it. He looked fucking outstanding on Saturday night because Sakai, young, talented, not much miles on the clock, very, very good striker, big power, took it to over him in the first 2 rounds, right?
Yeah.
It was all over him, landing big, long combinations against the fence. Overeem was covering up very, very well like an old veteran and not panicking. That's what you got to do in that situation. Not panic, cover it up. I would have liked to have seen Sakai go to the body though. Anytime, Lewis, when you're taking on Jason Ellis in Bellator,
Don't get me
back him
started.
up against the fence and Ellis is covering up like this and he's like, oh, fucking hell, mate. Jesus Christ, Lewis, your fucking boxing's way better than what I thought it would be, right? And he's there and he's covering up the face. What does that leave open? Ooh, the body. I would have liked to have seen Sakai go to the body. But he didn't. Round 1, round 2, that was basically the story of it. Round 3, Overeem took him down. And it wasn't even a good takedown, no disrespect, but it doesn't matter. The takedown that works is a fucking perfect takedown. It was a weird single leg, but it worked. And he got on top of him and he pounded the shit out of him. And it was clearly evident that Sakai had no answer for him on the ground. That's Overeem's strength. He's been around for so long. Primarily, he's a striker.
Which is weird because he's a K1 guy who's known as a kickboxer, but now he's taking down guys and beating guys in the grappling department that technically he's not even supposed to be able to beat.
Well, if you look at his record, though, back in the day in Pride, he was submitting a lot of people. He had a very, very good ground game. I haven't got his record in front of me. Maybe Harrington looked that up. But yeah, no, he had some very, very good submissions, so he's well-rounded. Took Sakai down and dominated him on the ground. Came very close to finishing him. Round 4, did the same thing. Took him down easy. And so therefore, going into round 5, it was 2-2. Now on the feet, Sakai seemed to be the better guy. But it is mixed martial arts. And with the savvy, with the experience, just the mental toughness, and realistically, just the experience, he knew it was a very, very clear path to victory. Round 5, he went out there and he wasted no fucking time. Shot in straight away, got a single leg. And again, it wasn't a very good single leg. Sakai really, really needs to work on his takedown defense because he went down far too early. Overeem got on top, pounded him out. Fucking job well done. He has my respect.
So will we be able to see a C4?
Yeah, the C4. I mean, that's still in, man. That the world's tallest midget has to answer the call. That's the only fight that really matters. So Alexander Volkanovski, the decision maker, Alexander the Average. If you're watching this, sign the damn contract.
Was it presented to him?
Oh, it was. It was. Dana believes I could beat him. Hunter believes I could beat him. I think the biggest thing for them is that they feel like I will retire again. Is the reason why they probably won't give me the fight, which I could see where they would come. You know, where they would get that from, because George St. Pierre did it. But if the opportunity comes, I'm here. I know I could defeat the man. I know I could defeat the bum.
Well, that would be a great fight, and I'm sure so many people would love to watch it. But I did notice, judging by your Twitter, that you've been actively tweeting a lot of bantamweights as well since your retirement. Where did all that animosity come from?
No, I just think it's funny. I just think all these clowns, like, you know what I'm saying? They call the bantamweight division, you know, murderers row. Guess what? The murderers right here. All those dudes are a bunch of chumps. They're all Renachance. Peter Yan. You make me sick. And then that other lemon head, Figueiredo. They all suck.
Flyweight champ.
Flyweight champ, all those dudes, they all suck. That's why they're all calling me out after the fight, because they know who the king is, and that is King Triple C.
Well, what do you think of Cody Garbrandt dropping down to?
Cody Garbage can bend the knee too. He sucks too. They all suck.
Do you see a return back to the octagon before a WWE or AEW debut?
I'm the greatest to ever live. Whatever I decide to do, Helen, I'm going to do.